Hey everybody, hope all's well. So I want to go over Book 3, Chapter 18 of Ecclesiastical History by Eusebius. I'm going over a series why Eusebius is not credible, and I go over why possibly he made up some of the things that he has. And when you piece all this together, things become more and more obvious. But so this is Book 3, Chapter 18, it's titled of John the Apostle in the Revelation. So it starts off in this persecution under Domitian. In this persecution, so he's referring to the previous chapter, which is 317, which is this right here. So there's a link right here to that video, my previous video I made, previous chapter. The persecution under Domitian. Now, I've already gone over how there's been investigations that claim that it's widespread persecution of Christians, and it's false. Eusebius is the first person that made this up, and I kind of go over a little bit why in chapter 17 why he did that. I'm not sure I covered it, but by making it look like the Book of Revelation was or Domitian persecuting Christians, it allowed to make the Book of Revelation appear that it was written during the time of Domitian. And why would he do that? Is to make it look like John was still alive at that time, which allowed to make it appear credibility, apostolic succession went from John to Polycarp. Supposedly Polycarp knew John, but I'm going to point out to you that is not possible. It is handed down by tradition that Apostle and Evangelist John, who was yet living, assured the mission. This was impossible since the house of Israel was desolate in AD 73. Now remember, Jesus said the house would be left desolate, okay? So I figured out the last day. I have, you just go to my timeline. I might add my timeline here. I figured out the last day of the house of Israel. It was in a Gregorian calendar, September 22nd, AD 73, and Tishri 5 in the Hebraic calendar that year. So it's the half of time, the half of the Yom Teruah, which is the Jewish feast, the judgment feast, where they sound the trumpets and shout to the Lord, and it was done every year, the 10-day feast. Okay, it went on from Tishri 1 to Tishri 10. And it varies from year to year where it falls in the Gregorian calendar. Okay, so what happened that year was September 22nd, AD 73. That was their last day. After that, they were dead, they were gone. And John was part of the house of Israel. And so he would not have been around after that. All right. So continuing on, condemned to dwell in the island of Patmos. Okay, so the pattern I see with Eusebius, he'll tell a lie and then immediately go to a truth that can't be denied to maintain credibility. Irenaeus in his fifth book against heresies, and keep in mind, there's no doubt Irenaeus' writing has been modified, and who do you think I'm going to guess modified it? Eusebius. But where it spoke at the calculation form of the epithet of Antichrist in the above mentioned revelation, I'm missing a letter there, of John, I'll fix that, spoke in the following manner respecting him. If, however, it were necessary to proclaim his name, Antichrist, openly at the present time, it would have been declared by him, saw the revelation, for not long since it. Now, the Greek here can go either way, it or he, okay, was seen by almost in our generation to close the reign. So the question is, who was this referring to, okay? So, if we look at the Greek in its fullness, it and he, both ways, and what works both ways, it would be referring to Antichrist and he referring to Titan. If you read both the paragraphs in the book against heresies, I have a video on this where I go over it. Okay, so Irenaeus believed that Titan was the Antichrist, but he didn't want to put his name positively or openly, okay? But that's who he thought it was, and fulfillment of prophecies. You read both the chapters, he mentioned the past in the book of Revelation. Are you thinking of? And I go over it in great detail in this video. If you click on this down here, you have access to this interactive PDF in the description below, by the way. So I go over that carefully. So what fits in the surrounding paragraph, but both paragraphs, was Titan and Irenaeus' mind being the Antichrist, that he was the one seen almost in our generation at the close of Domitian's reign. John would have been able to one to identify, answer whether or not he was the Antichrist, okay? The one that he was thinking of. But however, if you read the book of Revelation, the word Antichrist is not even in there. And if you read 3 epistles where it talks about Antichrist, he corrects them from singular to past tense, plural, repeatedly, over and over and over again. So they heard a singular Antichrist, but he kept correcting them over and over. I go over that in my video, Antichrist, the Inductive Method, if you want to watch that. Anyway, so to such a degree, indeed, that the doctrine which we profess flourish, that even historians that are far from befriending our religion have not hesitated to record this persecution and martyrdom in their histories. So, as I already pointed out to you, there's been investigations and it just falls apart. He just obviously lying. There's no evidence to support what he's saying. These also have been accurately noted the time for it happened according to them in the 15th year of Domitian. At the same time, professing Christ, Flavia Domitilla, the niece of Flavius Clemens, one of the consuls of Rome at the time, was transported many others by way of punishment to the island of Pontia. All right. So, yeah. So what Eusebius had done here is had such a big influence on Christianity that when you go, let's say, hiking with Christian brothers and sisters, and you have a conversation about when that leads up to when the Book of Revelation was written, almost everyone will say, "Oh, in the '90s." That's a given. He had so much influence. The way he wrote this, and people who are teachers and scholars who are trying to study history and doing their homework, they get fooled by his writings, and it has created one heck of a mess. So anyway, yeah. So as I already pointed out to you in the previous video, the previous chapter, that this claim is false, and I already went over why I believe he made that up, about Domitian's persecutions, and about why John claimed that he was still alive, but yet living, to make it appear there's an apostolic succession from John to Polycarp, and it's to give validity to Peter being supposedly in Rome, and yeah. Anyway, it's just a mess. Anyway, there's gonna be more, a lot more videos on this. I think that's all I have for this. So I'll have a link to the timeline again, and I'll also have a link to the video on the Antichrist using the inductive method. Alrighty. Anyway, I hope you continue to enjoy your studies, and you have an awesome day.